Okay, we're going to try to set this up a little bit better here now. So I reground everything sharper. So now I'm going to try to raise this whole thing up and take out the angle this way and take out the angle that was over this way like this. Bring it down to neutral. And instead of this being real low, we're going to bring it up a little bit. And we're going to change our angles a little bit and try to make it cut hard material a little better. We got to try to cut that air out of there. So we're going to come up, take this to this. That allows me to flatten the angle out a little better. Okay, a little bit high. Downhill quite a bit that way, that's not good. That screws up the other number. That looks pretty good that way. A little bit negative. That'll actually help us slightly. And we are a little bit low. If we get inside that hole, I think, but yeah. We're bottoming out of the hole's another problem, so come up a little higher. Which puts positive on it, which we don't want. And we just got some positive that way we didn't want either, so screw this. That went bad both ways. Trying to compensate for the amount of twist we're getting. Okay, that is slightly negative. And we're high, but we got some clearance. We're dealing with a tight ass hole, there's no room. So we have to grind a bit away on the bottom to make room to get it in there all the way. Giving it high gives us actually room to get in there. So can't go any lower. The problem is the cutter hits in the bottom of the circle because the circle's so small and the cutter's so fat it doesn't fit in the hole. But you got to get in there deep enough you can cut the taper. So there's a trade-off in there. So right now we're on that trade-off area, I think. So I'm pretty high in the air, which is not the way I want to be, and then I'm pretty flat, which is actually good. So I'm going to see how it cuts. See if it's going to make a lot of noise or it's going to cut decent. I don't know which one it's going to be. It might just break the whole end of the cutter off. Ah, wouldn't be the first time I've done that. Okay, let's see what happens here. Cut very much. Good, we got clearance. I'm feeling it come back though. Alright, hopefully we get something. We'll see. She's definitely not a happy camper. No doubt about that. middle point right there. Clearance. Okay. Gotta make sure it's got clearance on the, you pull up on it right here. Not dragging. Okay, let's see what we got. It looks worse than we had. About the same too. Yeah, 1.5. It's about 1 when you're going fast. A little over 1 when you're going fast, 1.25. Doesn't seem to get any better than that. We might have improved it by 1/2 thou, but that's about all we got out of it. The problem is getting this cutter in there, it doesn't fit. I'm gonna have to grind the whole bottom of this cutter away to get in deeper. I think it's about the best we're going to get, because it's harder than hell. It does not want to cut. You can definitely hear the lack of friendliness with it. Yeah, I don't like it being that far out though, so I'm not sure what I can do about fixing the problem. And it's fairly deep. Well, don't think I'll be able to get any better. It's very hard to get in there. I go in until I bump up against the backside. On the backside of the cutter doesn't cut, so I'm hitting on the far side of the taper, or the shaft over here. I butt up, it's like a wall, you hit it. Then I came out, and then I came out. When I first did, I came out quite a bit before I hit. Now I just barely come out and I'm hitting. So if I keep going bigger, I'm going to start putting a lip on the inside in there, which is not going to help us either. So I think we're pretty well about the limit we can do with this cutter. Now if I take this cutter and grind it way to hell undersized so I can go in deeper, then I can get a little more out of it. But I think we're pretty much done. It's not what I want, but it is what we got. So what I want to do, I want to check it to see how far out it really is on the inside of here. So we're going to go ahead and take this apart, get rid of it. See how much we killed the cutter. Looks like the point is still got a point on it. Didn't hurt it too bad. It's because I was doing the negatives on there. Those negatives will help it stay together. Okay, so take this. Okay, take our shaft. You can see how little of a taper they had to work with on this side. You can see how much bigger we got on this side. So we actually have more than what they got. So put it between our centers. Okay, now we should be able to measure what our air is and see how much we're working with here. Hopefully very little, but I know we got some in here. Okay. Actually pretty close. A lot better than the 2 thou we were getting, 1.5 thou. So now I'm just rotating the shaft here. You see how the needle barely moving. Got a good quarter of a thou out, if not a little bit more. Yeah, it's about a quarter of a thou, a couple tenths. That ain't bad. And the further away you get, the worse things should get. Looks like about the same. That's good. So now we're going to actually measure it on this side where we actually do our measuring. Let's go see how close their side is. So I'm responsible for this side of the shaft. They did this side of the shaft. So let's see what the difference is. You always want to be on the high spot. Okay. Now let's see how close V-twin is. Is there a hole there I hit? No. Tighten it up a little bit. See that clunk in there? Right there's a clunk. There's something not square in that hole. I actually have some tension on these tapers too right now. See, it's a twitch, a couple tenths. Whatever that thing was, it went away, but something in there is doing that. It's weird. So we got about the same there. Back off our tension. They got clearance in there now. Alright. So it looks like I'm the same amount of air, about 2 tenths on either way, so that means I did a pretty good job. I'll live with that. Alright, so that means we can now put this thing together and true it. Too much room over there. Alright, so that's what that looks like. Now we got to make sure that those set screws will go back in that hole too. So that's kind of important. So let me blow that out. Yeah, we got some air pressure. Making a mess. Tripod don't let me walk in my shop. Too narrow. Okay, let's go over here and check this out. See how clearances we got here. Gotta find my tool I used before. Okay, back around over to here. Okay, here's our 2 set screws. Small air nozzle's missing somewhere. What I did with that, don't know. Stuck with the big one. It has a rubber tip on it so you can blow things off better. I'm going to back blow it so the crap blows out. Pretty heavy. Okay, appears to be opened up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put these set screws back in here. So these are solid, there's no holes in them. So this one has a butt to it. They both do. Okay. Figure what size this is. One of these over here. Appears to be that one. So this is going to go into the shaft and plug the hole up. As tight as it goes. And it looks like there's enough room for the set screw to go behind it. Yep. It's only about half in there. So probably I'll do is machine the end of it off so it's flat. So going deeper. We don't have full thread engagement this way. That's tighter, way tighter than they had it. Now you make sure this hole is still open. If it's plugged off, we got an oil hole. No oil. So now we take our line here. Blowing nice and strong. No restriction to that hole. So that's working. So there you go. So now this is fixed so you can use it now. So I'm probably going to grind the set screw flat a little bit to get better engagement in there, so I'll probably modify that one. It tears the threads up running in that deep. Yeah, screws up the threads on this a little bit. But I'm okay with that. So I'm going to shorten that up a little bit, and we should be good to go. Alright, ready to rebuild the crank now. We got all the machine work done. All the repair work is done, now we can just do a rebuild. Alright, there you go. How come they didn't make it that way the first time? Oh, I had the light on. Go talk to Taiwan Teddy, find out why they're making these wrong. That means all these replacement ones they make are wrong too, because this is their part. So don't buy Taiwan Teddy, buy Jim's. There you go.